Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Um, Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So, I'm here today to talk to you about California Dreams Season 4, Episode 2, My Valentine. So, I love California Dreams. I might actually like it more than Saved by the Bell. I haven't really quite figured out if I have yet. Only because Saved by the Bell now is pretty problematic. It hasn't aged well. Not only that, but then there's that one season that's inconsistent with the rest of the show because, it's when Tori showed up and everything changed, and then all of a sudden she's gone the next season and they graduate for a second time. Then there's the whole Miss Bliss show in the beginning, and things just don't always line up. But Saved by the Bell is amazing. It's one of my all-time favorites. But boy, California Dreams was Saved by the Bell, but just with a band. And so it's still made by the same dude who made Saved by the Bell and all those other shows. Peter Engel, I think his name is. Basically, this was like the Teen Saturday Block era. So basically on Saturday mornings after all the cartoons are over, early in the afternoons, they would show like a bunch of live action teen shows. And so Saved by the Bell, Saved by the Bell, The New Class, California Dreams, Hang Time, and Malibu, Malibu, California? Or something I can't remember. But there's a bunch of city guys and stuff like that. And they were some really good shows. And this was one of the best, if not the best. All their jokes always landed. And it wasn't no awkward, breaking the fourth wall or nothing like that. And so in this episode, my Valentine's Day is coming up. And Tony is still dating Sam. And they've been dating ever since the third season. And so, they're seniors in high school. They're getting ready to graduate in about 4 months or so, I think. Interesting, because the show lasted for 5 seasons. And in the 5th season, they still haven't graduated yet. So anyways, he really, really loves her. And the thing about those two, I always like that. Those two are always the best couple on the show because they actually stayed together. I'm not sure what happened after graduation because everybody went their own separate ways to have closure for the show, but they were the best couple on the show because they're the one that only actually lasted. Jake, he dated Lorena and Tiffany at 2 completely different times, and then Sly dated Lorena in the last season, which I will talk about soon. And so, but these two was always more lovey-dovey and everything, and I always liked that. Plus, it was interesting to see a black character and an Asian character date. That's something that was very rare back in the 90s. And in fact, I'm getting congested. And in fact, you still really don't even see that today. How often do you ever see an Asian and a black dating couple? The only other time I remember seeing that is in the first Rush Hour movie and stuff. No, the second Rush Hour movie. When that one black dude, Don Cheadle character, dated that one Asian lady working at the restaurant. So it's very rare to see. And this is probably the only television show that I know of that's actually ever done that. And it makes it look so appealing and stuff, Because I remember seeing that thinking, oh wow, that's so cool and stuff. Because I've never seen that before. And so that's why I'm glad those two always had a good relationship. But the show is starting to wind down. And so basically in this entire episode, everybody wants to do something special for the person they're dating. Jake and Tiffany are dating this season, but we don't see much of them dating in this episode until like towards the end. Basically, everybody's thinking about what gifts they should get them. So they find out that Sly has the locker combination to everybody's locker in school. And he proves it by telling them what's in their locker. And Tony's locker is nothing but posters of Sam. And then Jake, he wrote a lame poem to Tiffany for Valentine's Day. Basically, him and Tiffany don't have no money to buy each other no gifts. So after realizing it's lame, he's gonna scrounge up some money to like get Tiffany something. So towards the end, she got him she got him like a motorcycle emblem to put on his leather jacket. He wears a leather jacket every episode. He's the bad boy of the show. And so he got her some type of swimming outfit when you surf and everything. Only problem is he sold his leather jacket and she sold that of her surfboard to get them gifts. So they're like, oh, isn't it sweet? But then they look at each other all pissed and all like, I want mine back. So then they leave and they go get their things they sold back. Not the best couple, and yes, they broke up the next season. But Sam and like Tony. So basically, Tony got her a necklace charm type thing. And so he saved up, like he broke the bank, he said, for it, And it's a couple of carats gold and stuff like that. I think it was 14. And then Sly's cousin, Mark's all like, oh, I got my mom, necklace for Valentine's Day one time. So he realized he ain't gonna do that. And so they made fun of Mark because he got a Valentine's from that of his mom. Sly, being, the Sly person that he is and the Weasley person that he is, he tells Tony, basically, what's the point in you buying something really expensive for Sam because she's going back to China in about 4 months or so. Because after they graduate, because she's an exchange student. I can't talk. And so this really put some doubt in his head. And he's kind of like, oh man, you're right. And it sucks because he literally says he's in love with her and stuff. So he decides he's gonna propose and marry her and stuff to keep her here and so they can be together. When he proposes, she's so happy, she says yes. The group, on the other hand, thinks it's a bad idea. Because, they're 18, but that's normally the time some people marry directly out of high school. But they tell them of the problems of getting married at the high school. You need a job and you need a place to stay. And so they're all like, don't worry, it'll work out. But so Jake decides to do a pretend dream sequence and everything of what it would be like if they're married. And it's hilarious. It's the best thing of the entire episode. Basically, they're living in a rundown apartment. He's still working at the fast food place that they perform at. And she works at a car wash and she is very grumpy. I've never seen her act like this on the show before, which is hilarious. And then they start imitating each other's mother. So this is the part that's problematic now. He's pretending to talk Chinese on the phone, pretending to be Sam talking to her mom, complaining about Tony. So he uses a lot of fake dialogue because he can't speak Chinese. In today's standards, yes, this will be very offensive. But of course, this was back in the 90s, and this is the same dude who makes Saved by the Bell. So this is why that happened back in the day. So she imitates his mother talking about, this hussy stole my life, little boy, and ruined the best years of his life and blah, blah, stuff like that. Basically, they can't get along because, they have to work double shifts and their place is a mess and all this other stuff. So when they get back to reality, they realize that, nothing's going to come between them and nothing like that. But then they realize something. If worse comes to worse, she said they'll just live with Tony's parents. Tony's all like, I haven't told my mom about us or my parents about us. So she gets pissed and all like, oh, are you ashamed of me and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But then it turns out she hasn't told her parents. So now he's all like, you must be ashamed of me. Well, they're both crying and everything. But then they decide to break up because they realize maybe this is the wrong thing. And when they break up, they decide to give each other stuff back. And she got him some drums, which is his lucky drums, which I've never seen him play with before. And so they have this big fight, this big argument, and they're really broken up. And it's sad to see that because they are like the best couple of this show. And I think they started dating ever since probably season 3, probably, but she came into the show in season 2. And this was like a big thing for like an interracial couple that wasn't just like black and white. It was black and Asian and stuff. And so the group feels bad. They broke them up. He even wrote her a love song that they play early on in the episode. He wrote it, but Jake sung it. It's one of my favorite songs. And so they have no intention of getting back together. So while at like, the dance and everything, the group is trying to get them back together, but they just won't do it. So Sly, being the actually nice person that he is, because towards the end of the series, he started to show more of a nicer side and trying to help people out. So he decides to play their song that that Tony wrote for her. This, of course, causes them to get back together, because they realized that they was arguing over something stupid because they was rushing into something. And the only reason why they rushed into it because they are like in love with each other. And I can understand that. You're in love with somebody, they live in a different country. You don't want them to leave and everything because you'll never see them again. And just like Sly told him, when she leaves, most likely she'll just hook up with another dude and everything. And she'll forget all about you. And that has to be a hurtful thing because long distance relationships just don't work out, And so you can't help but to feel as to why they wanted to rush into things. And it would be great to see a reunion show, not a reunion special on Jimmy Fallon that they had years ago, but like a reunion TV movie or a revival or something like that to see what they've been up to with their lives after 20 something years since this show has been off the air, Now you can find this show on YouTube. Now wasn't that romantic or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about? Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody, and bye.